I noticed about this exotic and foreign land was that nobody honks at you on the highway. Well, in 2.5 months, I got honked at twice. But that's because I really cut 2 people off. So that's what happened there. Another thing, no one talks on a cell phone and no one texts. Texts? They don't do that in the car. They don't do that in the car. And I found a freeway to ride to the hospital on that has a speed limit of 45 miles an hour, and that was wonderful, just wonderful. The next thing, I went to a Toastmasters meeting. In fact, I kept going, and it was at 7:05 in the morning, and it was 5 minutes from my daughter's house. And it was different than our Toastmasters meeting. They have a theme for every meeting, and the Toastmaster carries it out. The Toastmaster of the day carries it out. And the theme when I went there was all the different species of daffodils, which I don't think that we would have here, because I don't think we have that many species of daffodils in Florida. But it was very charming. And then the first speech that was given, it was a guy who was showing 5 different yoga poses. And the yoga poses were supposed to help you reduce stress. And he gave us, I'm sorry this isn't bigger, but he gave us these little charts so we could do it at home. And I found that I could do 3, sort of, at home. Now, one of my responsibilities was taking care of my granddog, Mr. Mocha. And he's a big guy. He's a big chocolate lab. And in this picture, he has just eaten part of my daughter's glove. And I don't call him Mr. Mocha, I call him Bubba. And when I picked up Bubba at doggy daycare, where he goes twice a week, and brought him home, one day, I opened the door, and I grabbed his leash. I'm his grand dogma, by the way. That's what he calls me, grand dogma. I grabbed his leash, and he got out of the car really politely. But after he got out of the car, he saw something. And he lunged, and he took me with him because Grand Dogma wasn't about to let go of that leash. And I went flying, spread eagle, and I landed on the grass on my face. And what Mr. Mocha was chasing after was, in this strange and exotic land, they have crows the size of turkeys. So I went in the house with him, and I discovered that all I had was a little skinned knee. And later I had a lot of anxiety, wondering how many internal organs I had damaged falling flat on my face. Now, in this strange and exotic land, they have a gardener, a lawn man, who leaves love notes for them every time. And I picked one of them up. I was the only one home. And what he said was, on the note, "Please remove all the dandelions from your lawn." So instead I took a picture because I thought they were beautiful, especially 3 together. Isn't that stunning? So I left them there. Now, something that they're very serious about in this strange and exotic land is where they put their trash. So, I had to go on the internet and learn, because you can get a terrible fine if you don't put things in the right bins. There's a blue bin for recycling, a green bin for food and compostables, and a black bin for garbage. Now, you put plastic bags in the recycling, but that's only if there's a bunch of plastic bags inside one plastic bag. Then it goes in there. But if you have a single plastic bag, you have to put it in the garbage. I don't know why. If you have a lid for something that's less than 3 inches wide, it goes in recycling. But if it's more than 3 inches, it has to go in the garbage. If you have a greasy used pizza box, that has to go in the food and compostables. But if you have a box that's not greasy, you have to recycle it. I really didn't ever understand all this. And I was fearful that they would get like $100 fine and they would not be happy with me. However, it's good for this strange and exotic land, which was Seattle. And so I went along with all of it, including the studying for hours on this. Every time I use a lot of Kleenex because I have allergies. It says in there, on this, that you put kitchen paper towels and paper napkins with the food and compostables. It says nothing about Kleenex anywhere. So I called up and I said, hello, could you please, I'm from out of town, could you please tell me where you put Kleenex in the trash? And she said, yes, you put it in the garbage. And I said, but you don't put paper napkins in the garbage. She said, yes, but you don't use those to blow your nose. So I hung up and made a mental note to myself. If I blow my nose in my napkin, I better put it in the garbage. The last thing I did there was go to the zoo with my daughter. By this time, she was walking much faster than me. She was long gone. I was still watching this big gorilla. And he was dipping his hand in the ground, something, and tasting it. And the man next to me said, oh no, that gorilla's eating its own poop! And I looked at the man and I said, maybe it's somebody else's. Madam Toastmaster.